Happy Monday, everybody. It's Jeff Anthony here at Kafka Neighborhood. I wanted to come out and do a video for you. We received a lot of questions over the weekend. I was super excited to get these questions regarding financing, which means we have buyers. We're talking to people who want to take the next step forward. So I just wanted to make sure that I put together this video for you. Please let me know how my sound quality is in case that it's not well. I can try to put on my microphone so that way it can sound a lot better. But I'll try to project better in case you can't hear me. Let's go ahead and let's get started on the financing. First, I want to let you know that I am not a licensed loan officer. The information I'm providing is directly from the lenders. I'll go ahead and present them to you. We do not favor one over the other. I'm just going to present the information. That way you can do your research. You can also contact them directly if you have questions regarding credit and take the next step forward in order to purchase your home either here at the Reserve on Sleepy Hollow project or our projects throughout the state of Texas. Let's talk about the old school way of applying, which is going to be a paper transaction or application, I'm sorry. So what we do, we end up sending you a PDF form, and it has quite a bit of information already provided on here. So this one is specific to the Reserve on Sleepy Hollow, so it's easier for us to fill in the information. So basically this tells the lender who you're purchasing your home from. So Kafka Neighborhood is part of the Palm Harbor Village company. Our center is number 87, so that's what that 87 represents. On here you'll be able to basically tell us if this is going to be your primary residence, your secondary residence, an investment, or if you're buying this home for someone else. This is being that the Reserve on Sleepy Hollow, you're not purchasing land. This is a home only purchase. If we were looking at other projects that we have where you are purchasing land, like in New Caney, we would select here land and home. So we would put the address. If you don't know the address as far as the location, it's no big deal. What is super important is definitely the city, the state, zip code, and which county, and they use this to project what your taxes and your insurance will be there. On here, if you are purchasing land and home, they're wanting to know, is the land being purchased outright, refinanced, if you own the property free and clear, if you're purchasing it from someone else who it belongs to currently, the estimated value. This is really the if you own your property and you want to give it value. Sorry about that. So if you want to give it a value, so let's say that you own a piece of property and it's worth $100,000 and you own it outright, that's what you would value it for. Now, if you're purchasing a piece of property and they're selling it to you for $100,000, then that's what you're going to put on here. Now, in case that you own the property and you owe money, then it'll be $100,000, and then let's say that you pay $25,000 of that already, then you would put $75,000 here, basically the year that you acquired it. Now, in this case here at the Reserve on Sleepy Hollow, you're just purchasing the home. So on here, you would end up putting community or park. Now, family land, this is for those who have, basically it's pretty self-explanatory. You're putting your home onto a piece of property owned by someone in your family. Typically, we're looking for mom, dad, siblings. Lease, private property, this is if your boss is leasing you a piece of property or someone you know, or just someone in general says, hey, I have a half acre with everything on there. You're welcome to lease my property and put a home on here. That's what that regards. If you own your property outright and you're not using your land as any collateral, this is where you would mark that. And then for states that have Native American reservations, that's what's being marked there. If you own property or you're looking to purchase property, a site that you're not attaching, you would want to put this information, because you're going to basically tell them you're financing a piece of property aside from this one. So they're going to use that for your debt against you when they're trying to qualify you for your specific home. On here, we're going to put the reserve on Sleepy Hollow. This can be the villages on Lake Conroe. This could be Pine Acres. This can be any other community that we offer, or private land, whoever the owners are. The phone number, the contact for the community, and then monthly home site payments. We will go over that here shortly. For actually, let me just go ahead and just bring it up. So let's use right now the home site is $775, $825, $875. So on the high side, we're going to say $875, and the low end $775. So that's what you would mark into this area here. And then it's going to ask you, is the site rent scheduled to increase over the next 3 years? If so, explain why. Typically, we leave that alone because that's something that the community will answer specifically. All right, the next is the proposed down payment. How the down payment is coming, whether it be in your savings, checkings, cash on hand, or through a loan, or even if your family member is going to give you the down payment. Others, typically this is going to be like you're getting some kind of 401k withdrawal. That's usually where you're going to put it, or on here if you wish to use your land as down payment. The rest is pretty self-explanatory, like any other credit application that you filled out. They're going to ask for your name, date of birth, social security, your marital status, how many dependents you report, your residency, your residence over 3 years. So if you have been in one place for over 3 years, you only fill this out once. If this location here you have less than 3 years, you're going to want to go ahead and fill in a previous address, but you have to add 3 years consecutive of addresses on there. If needed, you can put down on paper the other addresses and how long you've been there. And then at the bottom here, you're going to basically put a credit reference. You're going to put what kind of relationship they are to you and their phone number. On the second page, it's going to be your employer information. Pretty self-explanatory as far as the top goes. If you get paid a W-2, you're not self-employed. If you get paid a 1099, you're self-employed. Even if you're under contract and they still pay you a 1099, you're considered a self-employed employee. On here, if you're doing hourly, all you have to do is put what your hour rate is here and then how many hours you work per week. If your salary is what they pay you, are they paying you a weekly salary? Like some places pay, hey, we're going to pay you $500 a week. Other places like, oh, we're paying you $1,500 every 2 weeks. And then it's like, oh, you're getting a salary of $5,000 per month. Now, if you're only told, hey, I make $120,000 a year, basically you just divide that by 12, and that's going to come down to $10,000 a month. That's how you're going to divide your yearly into basically a monthly salary. If you receive bonuses, commissions, any overtime consistency, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then you also just need to report 3 years minimum. So if you've been here for 3 years on your primary job, you don't have to worry about putting anything else. If you don't, then you have to fill in the other information here up until 3 years. Now, let's say that you're recently out of college or high school and you've only been at your job for, let's say, 2 years. you can list your education as part of your employment. They just want to track to make sure you were doing something, I guess. They just want to track it. In case that you jump from one job to another greater than 30 days of gap, you do have to report that gap down below. Same goes for your co-buyers. Okay. If you're receiving child support, alimony, or any kind of rental income, SSI, all those things you're going to put down here. Basically, these are going to be things that you actually report to the IRS. Your assets and credit information, this is basically reporting the money that you have that you're going to be using in this transaction. So if you're getting your down payment from your bank, you would just pay, here, put Wells Fargo, checkings account out of the Burleson, Texas, and the balance that I have there is $1 million. You just put that in there. And then auto values, these are going to basically be things that don't show up on your credit report. So if you have a super cool Shelby or some kind of like a boat or whatever that's completely paid off, you can use this as far as your assets. Any other real estate that you own that doesn't show up on your credit, such as homes that you paid off or land that you paid off. Debts and obligation. This is where if you owe alimony or child support or a garnishment, like for paying back some kind of settlement or tax garnishment that they put to collect. And then most people leave this area by blank. On here, if you are receiving some kind of government assistance for food and childcare, you put that information here. Down below, we do have financing available for U.S. citizens and also non-U.S. citizens. For U.S. citizens, you would answer yes. If you're a permanent resident alien, you would put yes or yes there. Now, if you're neither, you just mark no. Have you declared bankruptcy in the last 5 years? That's a yes or no. If you have, just put the date of when your bankruptcy was completed. And then the rest is just basically information. This information here is to ensure that the banks aren't redlining or discriminating against you based on your ethnicity, your race, and your gender. Then at the bottom here, you're just going to sign saying that you fill this out completely on your own and you're doing it freely to do so. So basically that's the credit application. Pretty simple. Shouldn't take you too long to fill it out. Lenders that are available are Country Place Mortgage, 21st Mortgage, Triad Financial, and a couple other ones that don't show up here that didn't require us to have signatures in order to send an application is going to be Credit Human and also Common Sense Lending, which we're going to go over their information here shortly. So let's go ahead and talk about and Cascade Financial. So let's go ahead and do it the new school. I know some people are like, nope, I don't want to spend my time writing out this information. I like doing everything over my phone, my iPad, whatever the case may be. Well, guess what? We got you. The lenders completely understand that, and they try to make things as easy as possible for you. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and look at. Sorry, obviously I can't do two things at once. I just want to make sure that I'm not cutting anything short. So let me go ahead and bring this website up. Let's go ahead and show this. Cascade Financial has put together this program where you can go in and apply for your home. The nice thing, it's a one-stop shop. They basically want to be able to have you fill everything out online. And what they'll do, they'll send your credit application to all the lenders that you're seeking to get financing. The good thing is this puts the power in your hands and not the seller. Those who have done transactions with me in the past know I don't shotgun your credit. We do things like we're doing now, which are video appointments or in-person appointments where we review your options in financing based on their interest rates and programs and what fits you best, and then you just let me know where you want to go for financing. So on here, basically what we do, we just type in the phone number that's going to be associated to the location we're financing with. Oh, look at that, Kafka neighborhood. Yep, that is us. Well, let's go ahead and click yes. So on here, they're going to go right into a credit pool, soft credit pool first, so that way you can take a look at what your credit is, and then after that you can go ahead and apply. So let's go ahead and let's just start there. You click on that. So let's go back. See, click on quick stop. So we're gonna put here just key things. Do not put hyphens and little symbols and things like that. That's something that they did tell us to recommend. So we're just gonna put information down, real easy, nothing super hard, kind of like what we saw on the credit app earlier. Alrighty, and then you want to make sure. Now, when you get ready to apply, you do have to apply individually. We're still trying to work out some kinks and being able to do multiple. So what you want to do is just do individually, and then you want to click on yours truly, Jeff Anthony Garcia, and then you're gonna go ahead and do an electronic signature, basically giving them authority to go ahead and do your credit pool and to be able to use electronic signatures. Click agree. All right, so we're just gonna all right. It didn't let me that. I was afraid of that, but let's see what happens. I agree. Of course, because we're online, I'm not going to show anyone their social or anything that may be. So it may actually get stuck here, which is very unfortunate. But the good thing is I do have a backup option where it shows how to actually fill out your credit application. I just did not want to go into that extent. I was hoping that this would allow me to fill out the credit application. All right, perfect. So once it says inquiry successful, you're going to go ahead and move here where it says save and continue. So let's go ahead and go save and continue. And it's going to go into the credit application directly. So as we mentioned before on the paper application, this is going to be a primary residence or financing just a home. The home site is located in a community. The community is the Reserve on Sleepy Hollow. And it's super important that you complete the application. Even if you don't know the information, do not worry about it because the loan officer will actually contact you either way and if anything's missing, they will get it from you over the phone. And we're going to say their number there is 661 300 1919. That's not their number, but remember we talked about the home site. We're going to be looking at that place. Are there any expected site rents to increase over the next 3 years? I'm just going to put no because I don't know. Will the home be located in a co-op? The answer is no there. And then what are we proposing for down payment? Let's say I got my tax return and I have somewhere about $8,500. I'm gonna go ahead and put $8,500 there, and it's gonna be in my checkings. So even if it's coming in, you're not gonna put tax return. If you send it to your savings or you send it to your checkings, just click one of those two, and then we're gonna say we're at 9938 Bell Court. And then Conroe, Texas. And those addresses, remember, we provide you the addresses through our website. We put all the addresses inside our listings. Okay. And then on here, it's just going to be myself, and because you want to apply by yourself, and then any person that's going to be going on with you, they'll apply by themselves as well. And then the question is there a residence currently on the land? So in this one, this would be applying like if it was private land. In a community, it's pretty obvious that the community has multiple homes on one piece of property. And then we're not using land at all. So let's go ahead and click continue. So it has all our information that transferred over. And then things that are missing is the phone numbers. It's important you do put your phone number so they can contact you. So once again, just put it in there. I always had a saying, no phone, no loan. So we want to go ahead and put a phone number so that they can contact you. I'm going to say I don't have any dependents. We're going to go ahead and move forward. I currently rent. I don't own anything. If you own a home, you just click on there. If you're living with a family member or just kind of living somewhere else, you can always click other. Now I'm going to say I've been here now for 2 years, 10 months. Okay. Now with Cascade, you only have to put 2 years worth of information. If you want to go ahead and put a previous address just to give more information, you're more than welcome to. And we're going to say it's the same as the mailing address, and let's go ahead and move forward. What am I missing here? Oh, county. That would be important, I guess. Let's say this is going to be Tarrant County. Okay. All right, now we're talking about employment. I am employed, and I'm employed by CAFCO in neighborhood. One, 2, 3 Main Street. I'm sure you guys get this, but I wanted to go through it just because I know sometimes you guys are at work looking at these things. So that way, if you're a visual person, you can see it. Okay. Hire date. This is the quickest way, is just clicking on the calendar. And then you're just going to scroll down, and I'm going to say I started back in, actually when I started with the company was 2005. And then I started April of 11th. Okay, so All right, and we're gonna say, oh, I get paid monthly, and I make $7,500 a month. Do you receive bonuses? Yes. Do you receive commissions? Yes. Do you receive any overtime? No, because I'm salary. How long have you been receiving bonuses? More than 2 years. And we're just gonna say I average about 5,000 in bonuses, and I probably average about 10,000 in commissions, just to put numbers on there. I don't have a secondary employer, and I don't have any other sources of income. I don't receive any of those things. I haven't had any gaps. So let's go ahead and let's move over to the next portion. And then it's going to ask me my landlord's name. And we're going to say it's Johnny Pay Me is his name. No relation. 817-566-6666, and I pay $850 a month. Okay, and once again, it's going to go just to your assets. We're going to say checkings account, and we're going to say 15,000. Wells Fargo, City, Burleson, in Texas. Okay. I don't have any judgments against me. I am a U.S. citizen. You see that? As soon as you put yes, it filled in the no here, so that way you don't. There's no confusion. I have not declared bankruptcy. Oh no, that's a no. Sorry. All these I'm going to say no. So what I'm clicking now is foreclosures, lawsuits, indirect obligations, which are that have gone under, that are like co-sign stuff you co-sign for. I don't have any obligation to alimony, child support. None of my down payment is borrowed. I'm not a co-signer to anything. Yes, I do intend to occupy this home, and no, I haven't had interest in any other home. Interest as far as like you actually own, not interest like, oh, I think I want to do that. That sounds interesting. That's not what they're talking about. Okay, and then some people want to leave this blank. Let's go ahead and just leave that blank. All right, so now we go into miscellaneous things. Just say that you read it. I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. And it really is important because it holds them to a standard that they're reporting. So if they're caught redlining and stuff like that, they'll get in trouble. So it's really important you go ahead and fill this out. And you can also do don't wish to provide. And then on here is going to tell you basically every lender that we work with. We're going to be adding a few to this. Obviously, Common Sense Lending doesn't show up here, which I'm going to make sure that changes. But we're going to start with them over once we kind of fill this out. So for right now, we're going to say, hey, I want to go with 21st and Country Place Mortgage. I always suggest getting a couple of quotes so that way you can look at two different things and see which one truly is best for you. And then after that, you just click here, send to retailer. So obviously I'm not going to do that because the information is incorrect. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's back up one. We're going to go to sign disclosures. That's super important that we click this because then without the signed disclosures, we cannot email these applications to the lenders. All right. Click the sign and then draw your name. It's super important that you actually draw your name. That's something that we found out here recently, that if we do not do that, they'll reject the applications. Create. Alrighty. Oh, this is for your actual application. Once again. So now everything's ready. Now you click send to retailer and boom, done and over with. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the interest rates that we have available. Not we, that the lender has available for you. So let's go ahead and let's switch over to that screen. So as I mentioned, we're going to go ahead and start with Common Sense Lending. Close that. Okay. Common Sense Lending does home-only financing. One of their biggest things they want to let you know is that they do not charge any points or origination fees for any of their loans that they put together. They offer a zero down payment program for buyers who qualify, or you can get up to 90 days of no payment once your payments are supposed to start. It won't basically happen until 90 days afterwards. They start with credits between 620 and up with 5% down. Oh, I'm sorry. Those with 620 credit scores and above will qualify for a 5% down program. Those between 600 to 619 will be a 10% program. And then some information, occasionally customers will have something on their credit report that must adjust the minimum down payment requirement. So non-occupying core buyers, so this is like a co-signer. They have to do what's called a 2-in-1 ratio, basically saying that they can afford this house with their debts as well. If you're going to be buying the home for somebody, or you're going to be using this as an investment, you have to have a minimum of a credit score of 620 and a minimum down payment of 15% with a max loan amount of $85,000. Okay. They don't do a program where you can buy down your interest rate for those going into communities. There's no age discrimination. Their loans are 25 years terms for all customers. Simple online application, which we actually talked about that we'll be able to do through that Cascade financing website as well. So it makes it easier. So here are their terms and rates. People with 775 credit score, you qualify for zero money down, and you can put 35% or higher. You know, let's say that you want to pay half of the house down. It doesn't matter. It still qualifies under this 35% as far as that rate. Okay, so the rates that they have right now are 6.29. That is phenomenal for you great credit customers with the down payment that have saved enough down payment. That's awesome. If you go into a zero down, it's at 8.49. But as you can see here, you can look at how it fluctuates. Most people with good credit always have money. Even if you were to do a 10% down program, you're about 7.79, which isn't that far off the mark of what current real estate loans are. The nice thing, none of these loans have a mortgage insurance program on them. So even if you don't have 20%, you don't have any mortgage insurance that you're going to have to pay into. So that's a great benefit. Those with 750 credit score, you can also, and above, you qualify for 0% down. The rates are fairly similar, just a little bit higher. Not a whole lot, but still able to get under 7% interest rates with anything over 35% down. 725 and above credit, you also qualify for 0% down. That's awesome because the other 0% down program that's offered requires you to have a 750 credit score. So here, Common Sense Lending is being really aggressive because they want your loan and they're showing it to you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. 700 credit score, you can get a 0% down program. Common Sense Lending, you're blowing my mind. I want to thank Katie Garcia. She recently reached out to me and sent me out her information. So, being that she's the one that reached out to me here most recently, of course, I'm going to start with her and her team. All right, awesome. Hopefully, you guys have been able to take a look at that. All right. Now, anything under 7%, now, or I'm sorry, 700 credit scores are going to start to be 500 or 5% down. Interest rates are going to be about with 35% down or more, as low as 8.19, and as high as 9.29 for credit customers between 680 to 699. 640 through 679, 5% down and upwards from there. Lowest interest rate they offer in that bracket is 8.29. The highest is 4.49. The 620 through 639, 5% down and upwards. Lowest interest rate based on a 35% or higher is 9.79. The lowest end, it's 11.29. All right, and then 600 through 619 is 10% down. So it looks like anything under a 620 credit score will go to 10% down, just like as that disclosed. Lowest interest rate based on 35% or higher is 10.29, and as high as 11.99. And then if you don't have any score, these are ghost programs, so like those with new recently credit, they're going to ask you a minimum of 15% down with an interest rate of 12.29. If you put more than 35% down, they'll give you 10.79. So that is Common Sense Lending. So you can see they have programs for all sorts of credit types. So thank you, Common Sense Lending, for that information. The next one we're going to look at is Triad Financial. So Triad approvals are good for 60 days. They do allow up to a 1% buy down. The terms for the homes is a minimum. Let's see here. Maximum terms for homes under 40,000 is 240 months, which is 20 years. And then any home over 40,000 can go up to 25 years. There is only a document fee of $1,250. That doesn't come out of pocket unless you want to pay that. It actually gets rolled into your loan. Just like Common Sense Lending, there's no prepayment penalties and there's no mortgage insurance that's required if you put less than 20% down. So looking at their best interest rate based on 700 and above credits with 20% down is 8%, and then with 5% down it's only 8.75. So not a huge difference between the two. Between 660 and 669 with 20% percent down and higher is 9%. And then with 5% down, we're looking at 9.75. So the nice thing, it doesn't fluctuate more than 0.75 on those two, from 20% to 5%. Actually, yeah, that looks like the same between 640 to 659. With 20% down or higher, we're looking at 9.25, and then 10% with a 5% down program. And then those for 600 to 639 with 20% down looks at 9.75, and then 1% difference between the 5% down at 10.75. All right, thank you, Triad. Next is Credit Human. I don't have a form with me with rates for Country Place Mortgage, but uh, uh, they're very close to what Credit Human's going to do. They compete very well against each other. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they offer here. Now they have two specific programs. They have what's called a fixed rate program and then a fixed step rate program. And I'm going to go ahead and explain first the fixed rate program because both CPM and Credit Human offer this. So for an example, when I lived in Midland, I was purchasing my home and, by God's grace, I was able to pay for that in cash. But when I was trying to finance, I actually looked at this fixed step rate program because I knew that I didn't want to finance the home for very long, and I had a great down payment to do so. So, for an example, I'm gonna kind of show you what I had. I was between this range here, this 700 to 739. So I didn't want to finance my home more than 10 years for sure. Really, I didn't even want to finance it for 5 years. So this program worked really well for me because I was like, well, I'm gonna have a good substantial down. So let's say that I had 40% down. I'd be able to finance the 5 years at 9.10 for the 5 years, and then if I happen to have not paid that home off in those 5 years, it does not balloon out, and it kind of like what a NARM does. What it actually does, it's going to adjust to that. I'm sorry, the first 5 years would be 8.10, and then the next 5 years would be 9.10. But whatever balance is at that time is what gets adjusted to the 9.1. Unlike an ARM where rates are on the increase now, they're not going to take that 2% to 6% increase. As you saw, it was basically a 1% increase, and then it's locked. It's not going to adjust anymore. After that, it stays fixed. So it's a great way to pay more balance to your loan during the first 5 years that you're doing it. And it may be something that you want to do. It may be something that you don't want to do. They're not going to pressure you to take this program. They're just offering it to you. So if you like staying at a fixed program, you can see here on the left-hand side their rates and the programs that they offer you. They're going to start with credits starting at 660 and above. They are a lot more careful on who they lend to and what they require, but they are a great institution. This is an actual credit union. So obviously, if you don't know, credit unions, their money comes from their actual depositors. So that's why they take care of their money a little bit more and don't buy as deep as, let's say, 21st Mortgage, Triad, or Common Sense Lending. But based on that, the highest rate that they offer is 9.7, and the lowest rate that they offer is 7.7. So in comparisons to, when we were looking at Common Sense Lending, I'm liking it. I'm liking it, Common Sense. All right. Let's go ahead and let's look at closing that out. And then we have 21st Mortgage. I'm going to go ahead and keep this here. And what I'm going to do an estimate based on credit between 600 to 650. And the reason I'm going to do that is because about 85% of the people who attempt financing actually fall into that category. 21st Mortgage does not put out a rate sheet. They're they have you go to what this payment estimator site is, and you put your information on there, and they give you real-time rates as you go through. So it would really take a lot of time to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Obviously, we'll be in Texas or whatever state you're going to be at. We're going to say Texas here when we're looking to purchase a home from a retailer. Capco neighborhood is considered a retailer. We're going to be putting the home in a community. And you can always switch. Let me go back. I know I'm going, oh no, you see, that's the only thing about that website. why I said I would kind of just stick to the one. I'll go a little bit slower, just so we can see what we're doing here. I was just trying to hurry because I know we're coming up at 50 minutes of this video. So if you've been here the whole time, I thank you greatly. So on here, you can be buying it with land. You're going to be using your land as down payment, or you're just financing the home to put it on land. And then this is going into a community or park. You can put whichever way you're going to finance. Now we're going to say this fair credit. Actually, yeah, we're going to say the fair credit. And I mentioned, let's say 150,000 is one of the homes there just to use. This tells us, hey, based on your credit and what you're purchasing and price, this is what we're going to be asking you. A minimum of 5% down. So I'll tell you actually what that amount is. So $7,500 based off of that. And then the worst case, if there's something there that they're going to ask you for a higher down payment, this is what the high down payment of 52.5 is. But typically, these are the two rounds we see the lenders come back and ask for down payment, with the exception if you have superb credit. So we have 1535 and then 1372. This is just what we call a principal and interest payment. You still have tax and insurance payment that goes on top of this. I typically recommend that you estimate between $250 to $300 to guesstimate what your escrow account and your interest payment would be. So on this particular home, let's say it's $150,000. You're looking about $1,835. Okay, so looking at that $1,835, let's look at some homes that we have available at the reserve on Sleepy Hollow. Let me bring up let's see. So, at 150 available, we're looking at the Santa Fe. These are pretty close, like the Villager homes. I'm just trying to see some different ones. This value 56 on 182 is 142. So let's just say that you're looking at the value home on home site 182. Let me go ahead and go back to that webpage, right? So if we were to look at that home site, that's $775 per month. So at $1,835 with taxes and insurance and your home payment, we're going to go ahead and add that $775. So this would leave your, give me a second. I want to do this on screen so you can see. So we're going to go ahead, once again, we're going to take your 5% down with program. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to estimate 300. I always like estimating high because then you can't get disappointed if it's less than that. So let's go ahead and add the 775 for the home site. You're looking at $2,610 per month for this home located there at the reserve on Sleepy Hollow. Most of us know there at the Woodlands and near the Woodlands, rent for homes and rent for apartments are either at a starting point of this or exceeds a lot higher than this. Here, you're actually going to get to own your home. You get your tax benefits that come along with it. So if this is along the lines of a kind of payment you're looking for, all you got to do is give us a call. But I wanted to go ahead and put this out there because you can use this formula basically for anything you're going to do, whether you're buying land, you're renting land, you're putting it on a piece of property you already own, you can use this formula to calculate your payments. You can go through the video, slow it down, find the points, looking over those rates, and put it together on a payment calculator, and it'll give you a great idea of more or less what your payments are going to be. And this is a good way for you as a consumer if you're doing your research and before you go out and commit to somebody that you know exactly what you're going to be purchasing and what kind of budget it is that it will be, so that way you're not surprised, and secondly that you're not getting the wool pulled over your head, and you know exactly what's up. So I'm going to go ahead and close out what we have here. If you're a real estate agent, I highly recommend that you rewatch this. This goes over what a chattel finance deal looks like. Here at the Reserve on Sleepy Hollow, Kafka neighborhood, it's paying a 3% referral. If you bring a qualified buyer to us and they finish the transaction or their purchase, we will pay that just like you would if you were buying, if you were showing them a house for resale on standard real estate. So we look forward to assisting you and making you a homeowner, whether it be here at the Reserve on Sleepy Hollow or the lakes on Lake Conroe, the villages on Lake Conroe, Pine Acres, or any of the other communities that we're working with. And hopefully here soon, we'll be working with my buddy down in the South Houston area and down towards Alvin over at Live Texas. So shout out to you, buddy. You know who you are, and we look forward to assisting you guys. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and God bless.